This is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to make this Ripple Wave Beanie. And this hat fits sizes from a 3-year-old all the way to an adult. It's very easy to make adjustments to the hat by adding or subtracting rows. With this one I only used 3 different colors, but I have pictures where I used 4. It also works very nice. You can also use 2 if you like, or even just 1. But the texture really shows up a lot better if you use 3. And this was the yarn that I used to make this one. As you can see, using several colors, you only use a little bit of each, so you could probably make several hats just out of, you know, the same colors that you use. So I started with the kind of medium color, but you can start with the darker color if you like, or the lightest color. It's up to you. So I think this time I'm going to start with my same color I used before, so not to confuse. And you see the hat. And to start, you want to chain, let me get to the pattern here. You want to chain 3. Okay, this yarn that I'm using is all worsted weight yarn. 4 ply for the US, 10 ply for Australia. And I'm also using a 5mm hook or a size H hook. So you want to grab all the colors that you want to use and your 5mm hook, and let's get started. Okay, to begin you want to chain 3, slip stitch in that beginning chain, and slip stitch to form a ring. Now to begin with, we want to go right into that center ring that we just made, pull up a loop, and then create a single crochet and chain 1. That's going to be our very first stitch. Now working in the ring again, we're going to do 11 double crochets, and our single crochet and chain 1 will be our first stitch, so we should have a total of 12 stitches at the end of this round. Okay, slip stitching in the chain of our single crochet and chain 1, you want to slip stitch into that chain, and then again you're going to go right back into that first stitch and do a single crochet and chain 1, then go right back into that stitch again and do a double crochet. That's going to be your beginning of round 2. We're using the same color. Now we're going to be using the back stitches, what I call the back stitch. Usually your single crochets, or all your stitches actually, have like two pieces of yarn, as you can see. And if I go underneath both loops, you can see each stitch has, stupid yarn out of my way, each stitch has 2. You can see 1 and 2. We won't be using either of these. What we're going to do is, if you could turn to the back, you can see right on, okay, I'm going to cut this thing. Really getting on my nerves here. Left my real scissors downstairs. I have my kids' baby scissors up here with me at the moment, so sorry about that. Anyway, what you want to do is, if you just look here where your stitch is connected, there's a stitch back here. It's so difficult to show you this stitch. I had a difficult time before showing. I know what I can do. Okay, I went ahead and I made this bigger piece so that you can see what I'm talking about. And as you can see, these are the top stitches that you usually work in. You won't be working in those. If you turn it to the back, you will see that the post of the single crochet, if you separate your stitches, you'll see that's the post of your single crochet. And in the back, there's a little stitch right at the top, and you can see that all of them have it. See, there's one here, almost looks like a little head and legs. You're putting it in the head part of it behind the stitch. And you can see with my hook inside of it, if you look on the front, whoops, if you look at it the front way, you can see I'm not into the stitch, either of those stitches. And on the back, that's the one you'll be going in. And you'll be using that stitch throughout. Okay. When you get to the beginning row, try to find, because when you get here, you're going to find that you have no more back stitches, so it's automatically going to show you that you're at the end of the row. But as you see, when you slip stitch, you create kind of a stitch. That's always to be ignored. Always find that first single crochet and chain 1, and always slip stitch into that chain 1 at the very beginning. Just like that. And we won't be cutting our yarn every row. We're just going to switch colors and keep our yarn together. Now my next color is going to be this dark one. Whoops, didn't realize I didn't have my microphone on. Hope you could hear me. I mean, not on, but clipped onto me. So what you want to do is get your next color, and what I do is just kind of fold it in half like this. And I just slip that loop into my last loop color, and then I'll grab that color and pull that loop tight, just like that, so that it holds my new loop firm. Then you can drop that color, and then now you're set to start working with your new color. Go right back into that stitch. I usually move the other color aside. I do not work over that color, but I'm going to work over my tail of my new color. I'm going to do a single crochet and chain 1. You want to do a double crochet into that same stitch. So in your beginning stitch, you have a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet worked into it. Now working in those back stitches again and working over your tail. So first find that back stitch. You're going to be doing a double crochet, just one double crochet. The next one will be 2 double crochets worked in the same stitch. And then fighting with my yarn here. Then the next one will just be 1 double crochet. So you're going to be alternating, doing 2 double crochets worked in one stitch and then 1 double crochet worked in the next. You're going to be increasing every other stitch. Last row you doubled your number. So you had 12 in the middle. You should have 24 here in the next row. And then this one you should have 36 at the end of this row. So continue to work that all the way around till you get back up to the beginning, and then slip stitch in the top chain of your single crochet, chain 1. Okay, getting into my row, finding that top chain, slip stitching. Now I'm going to introduce my next color. Again, you're not going to cut your yarn. Just going to get my next color. And again, folding it just slightly like this to make my loop here, pulling it through my existing loop, and then grabbing that color to tighten my loop. I'll drop it. Now you have your new color. Again, go right back into that stitch, do a single crochet and chain 1. And I'm not working over my old color, I'm only working over my tail. So again, go right back into that same stitch and do a double crochet. You're not working on the back stitches here on the very first stitch only, you're just working right into the stitch. Now our first back stitch is here, and we're going to be doing a double crochet now in the next 2 stitches. So you'll have 2 stitches in between your increase. Increase is when you do 2 stitches in the same stitch, like we just did the first stitch. So we already did our increase, Now if I can just get this back stitch, sometimes it can be hard to find, especially if your yarn wants to separate. So if you're having difficulty, you are not the only one. I can tell you that right now. Sometimes they're just a pain. So double crochet in the next stitch, in the back part of the stitch, and then in this next stitch as well. And then you're going to do an increase in this next back stitch. So before you did 2 in one stitch, and then you did 1 double crochet, and then you did 2 in the next. Now you're going to have 2 in one stitch, and then you're going to have a double crochet, and then an increase of 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So then you'll repeat that pattern all the way around. Next 2, since you just did an increase, will be double crochet, and then the next will be 2 double crochets. Continue that all the way around, and at the end of this row you should have 48 stitches. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on after your 4th row, and since I'm showing you with only 3 colors, after the 4th row you need to change back to your original color, and you still have all 3 colors attached. All you need to do is grab up the next color that you need. Make sure that your yarn isn't tangled or anything like that. And then you just do like you did before, slip stitch into your loop, pull the other tight. And now you can start working with the new color. Go right back into that first stitch, do a single crochet, chain 1. Then from now on, I should say, this is going to be the last increase row. So you're going to go back into that stitch again and do a double crochet. Now, working in those same stitches in the back, you're going to be doing 3 single double crochets. I always say single, but I just mean, you know, just do one double crochet in the next 3 stitches. And then the next one, do an increase. And at the end of this row, the end of this round, since we're working in a circle, the end of this round, you should have 60 stitches. Now remember, you have single crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the first, do a double crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then you'll do an increase. Now you need to do a 1 double crochet, and they'll worked in those back stitches behind here. 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, then an increase. 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then an increase. So when you get to the end, count your stitches. You should have 60. Okay, when you get done with the row, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? After your 5th row, you slip stitch in the beginning chain, and you grab the next color up, which is the darker color here. And again, you'll switch colors just like you did before. There we go. Now this row, of course, you'll be going in and doing your single crochet and chain 1, and now you're going to just be putting 1 double crochet in each stitch around. So last row, row 5, was the last of the increases. So from row 6 to row 14, for 9 rounds total, you'll be alternating each color just like you were doing, and just putting 1 double crochet worked in that back stitch behind the stitch all the way around for 9 rounds, and then I will show you how to make your rim of your hat. Okay, I just got done with row 14, and this is where I am on my hat. If the top kind of looks like this, where it's kind of, you know, squared off a little bit, -2. It will change when you put the hat on and it fits good. It'll look just fine. So, like I said, I just got done with round 14, and I slip stitched in the beginning stitch and changed my color to my next color that I need. And let me just get a little closer. Now we're ready to start making the rim of the hat, and the rim consists of only 2 rows. I want the look of this all the way to the end of the hat. So what I did is you want to single crochet, whoops, not over the last color. You want to single crochet in the same back stitches you were using before in the next 8 stitches. So the first stitch, and then count over until you have a total of 8 single crochets. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 6, 7, and 8. Once you have your 8 single crochets worked in that back stitch you've been using this whole time, then you want to do 2 stitches together. So you're going to make a decrease, and again you're going to be going through that back stitch. So go into the first back stitch and pull up a loop, then find the next back stitch behind the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, and then you will just pull through all 3 loops. And then you're going to repeat that for the rest of the round. Single crochet again in the next 8 back stitches that we were working in before, and then you will do a single crochet decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then again go into 1 stitch, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through all 3 loops. Continue that all the way around until you get back up to the beginning stitch, which you'll slip stitch into as usual and change colors. And you should also have 52 stitches at the end of this round. Okay, at the end of row 15, the last 2 stitches of the round are decrease, and then you just slip stitch in the last stitch and then switch colors. Now for round 16, which is the very last round, you're going to single crochet as normal in each stitch around. So you're not going to go in the back stitches. You're just going to, at the end of this last round, you should have 52 stitches as well. Remember, just make these regular single crochet all the way around. Don't go into the back stitches, and I'll see you back here in a moment. When you get to the end of your row, slip stitch in the beginning stitch, chain 1, and cut your yarn, and that will create the knot here in the end. Cut all of your tails, leaving just a little bit of a tail here that you can work in with the tapestry needle. Then what I do is I turn it around, and I get these other 2 colors that didn't get a knot tied, and I just tie a knot. Tie a couple of knots here, that way they won't come undone. Just like that, and then you can work them in their colors to hide them. And that's it. Back up just a bit. There we go. So that has been the tutorial to show you how to make this Ripple Wave Beanie. And I hope that you enjoy it. This hat should fit, like I said before, it should fit from kids that are 3 years old to adults. It stretches. If you feel like you need to make more rows so that it goes over the ears, feel free. Or even make less rows. So if you're making it for a small kid, make a few less rows. It's very adjustable. And another cool thing you can do is if you want to make it a slouch hat, you can just keep adding more and more rows once you get done with row 5, which is the last of the increase. So 6 through 14 is just a recommendation. Like I said, if you want to make the beanie shorter or longer, you can. And to make it a slouch hat, you can make another 10 rows or so and see if that's nice, has a nice slouch in it, and you can make a slouch hat of this pattern. You can make a slouch hat out of any beanie pattern very easily, but just increasing what's called the tunnel of the hat, which is just that part where you just keep going and going until you're ready to end it. So that's it. I really appreciate you guys watching, and please like this video, and you can like me on Facebook too and check me out there. And thank you so much for sharing my videos. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please take a moment to do that too. Thank you guys so much for watching.